Hi everybody, I'm Pratibha Agarwal. I'm an immigration attorney. I practice right outside of Washington, D.C. in Arlington, Virginia, but my clients are all throughout the United States. That's because, for those of you that have watched this before, that's because immigration is considered a federal practice. So that means our clients can be anywhere in the U.S. as long as we're barred and in good standing in one state. Our clients can really be anywhere in the United States. So our clients really range. They're all over the place. They're from coast to coast. We have clients in Washington State, in California. Hi, Ethan. How are you? We have clients in the Midwest. Shout out to those of you that I see here that will go nameless that are clients in the Midwest. We have clients, down south. We have clients in the Northeast. So we're located right outside of Washington, D.C. in Arlington, Virginia. And we have clients all throughout the U.S. and internationally as well. Today, I'm here to just answer your immigration questions. So go ahead and type them in. And I have some things that come up quite often in my practice as well. So I think that might be helpful to some of you to hear kind of these questions that pop up so many times. Ethan said, I saw so many changes at the Potomac Service Center. Do you know what's going on? I know that we are getting some receipt notices that we have been waiting on for a very long time. So we actually got so many, I think, 20 or more today in the mail. So I think there's, the Biden administration is coming in. Things are speeding up. There's more staff at hand. Maybe with vaccinations happening too, maybe more people are back in the office and they're not they're not having a limited staff anymore. I don't know. These are just my predictions. There's nothing official that's been announced, but we have seen an uptick in cases moving a little bit faster as well, at least on our end. Great. Thank you everyone for joining. So I'm streaming live on both TikTok and on Facebook. So if you lose me on one platform, feel free to join me on the other one. And our handle is Agarwal Immigration on both. So it's AGARWAL Immigration on both platforms. Yethan says for Form I-130, it was processing time was 12 to 16 months, but now it says 23 to 30 months. These things change very often, so just keep up to date with it, Yethan. Again, we've talked about it. We've talked about it on here. We've talked about filing a lawsuit if you want your case to move faster. That is an option. You don't always have to do that. But these processing times, they're not always exactly right. So don't get discouraged if you see it. Sorry, I'm going to adjust my camera here. Don't get discouraged if you see it become really large all of a sudden, because it probably will come back to that 12 to 18 month range is what I'm thinking. I-130, what we're seeing is we've been seeing about a year for I-130s, at least on our end. All right. Hi, Mohammed. How are you? Mohammed says, I got a green card, but I have 6 misdemeanor convictions. Can I get my citizenship? I have been living in the USA more than, I don't know how many years, but it says more than years. So if you have your green card and you're applying for citizenship, so there's some convictions that can keep you from potentially getting your citizenship. So when you have multiple criminal actions, criminal convictions, perhaps, we have to look at what they are. Are they separate or are they part of one act, right? So sometimes, let's say you, I'm just making this up, right? Okay, fine. They're saying more than 7. More than 7, Mohammed is saying. More than 7 years. Okay. So it depends on the timing of I'm going to read this question again for some people that may have seen me sort of sparse it out. And we have some people on different platforms. So Mohammed's saying, I have a green card, but I have six misdemeanor convictions. Can I get my citizenship? I have been living in the U.S. for more than 7 years. So most of the time, you have to be a green card holder for 5 years. So no matter how long you've been living in the U.S., you have to have been a green card holder for 5 years before you can qualify for citizenship. And usually you can apply 90 days before you hit that 5-year mark. Some people will be eligible after 3 years, but most of the time, the general rule I would say is 5 years you have to be a green card holder before you can apply for citizenship. So when you have criminal convictions, they can, if you apply for citizenship, there is a chance that they could get you deported. And I'm not trying to cause panic here, but it depends on actually what the criminal conviction is. So one, we have to know when it happened, and two, we have to know what it is. And if they were, there's different arguments that can be made. But essentially, when you apply for naturalization, one of the things that USCIS is looking for is whether you have good moral character, right? So when you have criminal convictions, that goes against good moral character. So we need to kind of beef up the other things that show that you're a good person. And if your criminal convictions were long ago, that might be something that won't make that big of a difference anymore, right? So if you've changed, if you've been employed, if you're paying taxes, you haven't had any criminal issues, that could potentially mean that, you have good moral character, that maybe you had an issue in the past, but you fixed it and you've really changed yourself and turned things around. But we really need to see you and see what exactly those convictions are for me to understand how it's going to impact your citizenship. Okay, so if you want to call us for a consultation, I'd be happy to look at that for you. We're at 703-348-1663. Mohammed's saying, I was a combat interpreter for American forces in Afghanistan, and I was brought up to this country by the U.S. Army. Okay, well, there are different benefits for people that are veterans or that are in the military. So give us a call. Let's see how we can help you here. Okay, we're at 703-348-1663. We do a consultation and we can walk through everything with you at the consultation. Yethan is saying, Yethan and Mohammed, you guys both have comments that are just coming in between one another here. Okay, so Yethan says he applied for Form I-130, but the processing time was 12 months, and now it's saying 23 to 30 months. Then he says, what is after the way to do it? Mine is already 1 year, still nothing. What is the faster way to do it? He clarified. Mohammed is saying, I will call you. Thank you. Yes, I would love to hear from you. Again, 703-348-1663. The faster way to do it. Yes, and this is, I brought it up here. We've talked about it. It is really the way there's no faster way. You can't just call an expedited I-130. It just doesn't necessarily happen. I have not seen it in our cases take that long. It has not actually taken that long. If you want, we talk about this often here. So there is a way to speed your case along, and that is filing a lawsuit in federal court. So you file under the writ of mandamus. So it's a complaint in federal court, and you're holding the agency, you're holding Department of Homeland Security and Department of State perhaps accountable for the length of time that they're taking to make a decision on your application. So every single agency is required to make decisions quickly. They're required to make decisions quickly and in an efficient and reasonable, timely way. When they're not, you can sue them, right? And most people are afraid. They're so afraid that it's going to negatively impact their application. No, it's not going to negatively impact your application, because the judge that's deciding that case is not the decision maker on your application, right? The application is decided by the agency. So it won't necessarily impact it. If you have a strong application, you have a strong application, but you can force the government to make a decision on your case. But what I keep reminding folks that call about this is it's about making a decision. So it's not necessarily a good decision, right? But you're forcing them to make a decision on the case, not necessarily a good decision. So it's just something you need to keep in mind if you think that you are going to, pursue this option and go this route, right? It's something that you should really keep in mind. All right. Rohit. Hi, Rohit. One of my favorites here. Nice to see you. How are you doing? Mohammed says, convictions is a family between me and my wife. So domestic violence type of issues. And then he said something about, I feel like I saw something about PTSD. Oh, I'm suffering from severe PTSD. That is why I broke the law. Okay, well, there are certain explanations, but you have to really show that you've changed. So you have to show good moral character. So it doesn't mean that you'll never be able to apply for citizenship, but really, you may be eligible to apply. So it doesn't mean that you can't ever, you might just have to wait longer. So let's just see, give us a call and let's figure out a plan for you. Okay, we're at 703-348-1663. Rohit says he's doing well. Good to hear. I'm glad to hear that. I hope everyone is enjoying the warmer weather. To our friends here on TikTok, hi Crystal, hi Maybe, hi Yvette, hi Maureen. So we have a bunch of questions here. Hi Patrick, hi Kamal. Hi, Amrit. Hi, Vidya. Patrick says, how are you? I'm doing well, thank you. Era says, hi, ma'am. Hello, Era. Kumara says, I crossed the border illegally, and my case is with the DOJ instead of USCIS. How do I apply for EAD? So when your case is with the DOJ, that means you're in immigration court. So you should probably get a lawyer. I'm going to tell you, if anybody is in immigration court, lawyers have a much higher success rate than you doing this on your own. So I don't even think it's a question whether you get a lawyer if you are in immigration court. So if you can, do your best to afford it. If you can't, then there are lots of pro bono agencies that will do it for you for free. But if you cross the border illegally and your case is with DOJ, there's different, let's say you apply for asylum, you may be able to qualify for a work permit based on your asylum application. You may be able to qualify in a different way, but you essentially, we don't know what your case is, we don't know what your arguments are, so you should call for a consultation, and whether it's with us or a different attorney. But if you would like to talk to us, we can try to go through the different relief options that you might have available. Okay, we're at 703-348-1663. Kamara says, my asylum case is with DOJ instead of USCIS. Oh, sorry, I didn't read that second one. How do I apply for a work permit with DOJ? You should get a lawyer and you should work with your attorney. So it's the same process, but everything has to go through with EOIR, which is, I think, where you probably are. Okay. Hi, Arzuba. Hi, Kshetra Kuruk. Hi, Mark. Kamara said, oh, all right. You're welcome, Kamara. All right, great. All right. I don't know that we have many other questions. Let's see here. Hi, Gopala. All right, guys, I think those were all the questions for today. It was nice to see some familiar faces. I'll be back on. Call us for a consultation. We're at 703-348-1663. We charge, Mohammed is asking, would you charge for a consultation? We charge $150, and it is one-on-one by Zoom or phone. I personally prefer Zoom, but if you don't if you don't have the application or if you've never used it before, we can also do phone as well if you feel more comfortable. But we'd be happy to do a consultation for you, and it's really one-on-one. It's going to be like this. If you're watching me right now, it's going to kind of be like this, but it'll just be me and you, and we'll be talking specifically about your entries, your issues, your specific questions, and then we can go through red flags that you need to be aware of, ways to reach your immigration goal. So we can certainly do all that. So feel free to reach out to us if you think that we can help you. All right. Well, I hope you guys have a good evening. It's getting a little late, so I'm going to hop off here. I'm on Eastern time right now. But it was nice to see you. It was so great to see some familiar faces. Rohit, Yethan, nice to see you guys. And I will see you soon. Okay, bye, everyone.